Hi, this is Jerry King, and I am back with another segment on the four pillars of destiny. And today I'm going to be talking about the commanding pillars, called Kui Gang or Fui Gong, which is a special star, one of the special stars in the four pillars of destiny. Uh, so let's go right ahead. What are the commanding pillars? So as you can see, there are the four main ones, or I should say the only four specifically. These ones, which we see here, the Yang metal dog, so the Gangshu Yang metal dragon, Gangchan, and Wushu, the Yang earth dog, and you have the Yang water dragon here. So basically, these are the four, and we call them the commanding pillars in English, or sometimes they could be referred to as the bossy pillars because they are referred to as something that's very powerful. Like a person who has this chart can wield power, authority, and so on and so forth. So there's a specific pattern that you can see here. So obviously the dog and the dragon are the main components of this commanding pillar. So when you look at analyze a chart, you can see right away, oh, okay, there's a dog and there's a dragon. So right away you can see that there's a possibility of this person having a commanding pillar. So what's on top also does matter. So in the Chinese classics, they only state that it's only these four. So basically the metal dog, metal dragon, earth dog, and water dragon. And that's about it. But what about the other ones? So why not the water dog and the earth dragon, right? Because you already see that there's a metal dog and metal dragon. And then why not earth dog and then earth dragon, water dragon, and water dog? So why are these two not included? Well, that's an interesting topic. That's something that we could possibly debate about because if you do your research, um, the characteristics shown where people have the water dog on the day master or the Yang Earth dragon on the day master, they could also seem very powerful too, right? So, for example, Bill Gates, he's a Yang water dog. So there's obviously an argument that could be made that could that can refute what the classics say and add these two pillars. So that's something to keep in mind, something that you might want to research on, because that's what I notice sometimes when I see like the water dog or the earth dragon, that sometimes I do feel that these people are very strong. I wouldn't say they're bossy because sometimes there's a negative connotation to these types of pillars when we say they're commanding, they're bossy, they're dominant. All they care about is power and ambition, which they do, but we can't think of it too negatively because these are people who um, hold power and authority, right? So it really depends on their chart too. Okay. Um, in this next slide, in the classics, this is what I found. I'm just going to quickly and simply translate. So basically, the focus is on the day pillar first. Um, and they say that having more of this commanding pillar could lead to extreme power. So, for example, I have a client and he's a metal dragon day, and then he would have like an earth dog in the month, and I forgot what else he had. He had something in the dragon. It could be a earth dragon or it could be a water dragon. I forgot. But anyhow, having three pillars, this person having a lot of power, running a business, running a major corporation, having the ability to lead. Okay, that's the power of this specific star. So these specific stars, so right here, the next line here, it's oops, just jump back here. So the Yang metal dog and the Yang metal dragon, In the classics, it says it fears the control elements. So what are the controlling elements? So the day master being the yang metal, obviously the fire, or what we call the killings, controlling element, whatever you want to name it. These types of pillars are afraid of the controlling elements. And then the yang earth dog and the yang water dragon fear the wealth element. So this is exactly what it says in the classics. It's something for you to think about and to evaluate when you see a client, or if you see someone where you're doing research and you see, oh, okay, so there's a control element. What happens? It doesn't, excuse me, it doesn't have to be related to the chart itself. It could come from the luck cycle. So let's say this person's a yang metal dragon, having a good time, etc., etc., and suddenly he encounters like a yang fire horse cycle or a yin fire snake, and then boom, suddenly you encounter this control element. Does it really mean that it is bad just because the written classic says that, oh, it fears the control element? Um, it's possible that it could be bad, but it could also be positive depending on whether fire is useful to the chart. So we can't just read word for word and believe that, oh, okay, this is it. This person fears the control element, or this is it. He fears the wealth element. It doesn't work that way. We also have to see the useful god, or what is the main flow of the chart. Okay. And the next line, it talks about them being intelligent and smart. And in the next one, a little bit tricky here because it's talking about killing, having the ability to kill, but we don't really translate it that way. It has more to do with the mindset of making a quick decision, in terms being decisive, I would say. So these people have that type of a characteristics of being very decisive. And this last line, it talks about clash and punishment. So clash and punishment ruining, or it's mentioning that it's destroying or throwing apart the chart, um, and talking about injuries and things of that nature. So this is something to keep in mind. So what happens? So punishment. So let's say we have a metal dragon, right, on a day. And what if you have a metal dragon on the hour or the month as well, right? Does that mean that this person's going to get injured, et cetera, because there's a punishment? Or well, let's say there's a dog right next to the dragon. There's a clash right there. It does not mean that way, because let's say if your flow is earth, then it becomes completely different, right? So you don't mind that clash, you might bring out more earth, right? That's something that I want to talk about next time in a video. I want to talk more about the graves and the tombs, what happens when the earth clashes. That's also an important part of interpreting charts. So this next one I want to quickly touch upon is, okay, women having commanding pillars. They make it very scary. Like they talk about it, it almost sounds like the end of the world for women if you have the commanding pillars. It says that it has a detrimental effect on your relationships and marriage. So when women reads it, they freak out. It's almost like reading your romance star clashing, getting clashed, or your spouse palace getting clashing, and it says, "Oh, okay, that means that your spouse is gonna have problems, blah blah blah, etc., etc." Um, to make a long story short, the having the commanding pillar does affect the marriage, just because then their mindset, their characteristics, the woman, their mind is extremely strong. They could be overbearing for the men to be able to handle it, but that is something that you can manage if you do have this in your chart. You have to find ways, because having this type of a pillar in your chart and being a very ambitious woman, obviously you don't have time at home to spend, with your partner, right? And that also creates a negative effect on your relationship. But sometimes these women may enjoy being at work, and the man might enjoy having his own free time. So it really depends on the individual itself. Obviously, if you as a woman have this type of a pillar, it's more ideal if you were to find or meet a man who likes to spend time alone or he travels for his work. So this way there's less arguments and both sides can accept each other, right? They also say that these types of women would possess a powerful or a loud voice, wields power, being ambitious, saying marriage is not smooth again, and if they disobey the law, that it can lead to prison time. Well, this isn't like something new. Like you disobeyed a law, obviously you're going to be punished. So, but going back to the other points, like having a powerful or a loud voice, that is very common too. Like the women, like I wouldn't really say they have a loud or a powerful voice. I think the voice that they have commands the way they deliver the message allows them to command the people. So it's actually more of the having the ability to influence, the ability to deliver their message. That's probably what the classics actually tries to say, but obviously in Chinese it is they just use these types of languages saying that oh they're loud, marriage is not good and so on and so forth. Everything just it gets exaggerated. Okay, them being ambitious, women being ambitious, that's very normal. So marriage not being smooth, again, that's something that you can manage if you do have this sort of pillar. Or let's say if you're the man and if you notice that your partner, your wife, has this type of a pillar, obviously you want to be more accommodating and you more understanding of where she's coming from and why she's so motivated, right? And these people are usually very successful. Women having these commanding pillars, yeah, they are quite successful, I would say. Characteristics, regardless of whether they're weak or strong, these people dislike beating around the bush. In Chinese, we right here they say 不喜歡拖泥帶水. So this is a very like this is a slang in Cantonese 拖泥帶水. That means don't like to we sometimes we would say we don't like to waste time. We don't like to drag you around, take you for so in Chinese we call it 帶你行花園, like taking you around the garden and stuff like that. They don't like doing that. They want to be very cutthroat, straight through. This is what I want to get done regardless of whether they're strong or weak, the chart, these people are very frank and direct. They don't like to waste time. Sometimes, like I wish I had this star. I don't have this specific pillar, and because then it would make me more frank and more straightforward to the point. So sometimes I feel like I'm beating around the bush here. Anyhow, the generalization about having the commanding pillar is often more negative than positive. So I find it very common. People say, "Oh, I have the commanding pillar. This, my life is messed up. Relationship's not going to be good, and blah blah blah." Can't be looking at it that way because in the classics it also states that this pillar is a type of nobleman star. So they call it 灰光貴人. So it's actually like the Guayan is like the nobleman star, so it's a guide star. So it's actually a very positive feature to have. It's not negative. I mean, you get the positives out of it, which is being a successful business person. That's very highly possible, or being like someone who can manage, someone who can lead. But on the flip side, at home, it might not be as smooth, but that, like I mentioned, it's something that you can manage, right? So here are some examples I have here. So, for example, Queen Elizabeth, she has a Yang metal dragon on the day. And then you got the the Yang water dragon on the month here. So that's a very powerful one right here. Okay. You can look through this online, look at her life and so on and so forth, and see how the commanding pillar actually influences her life and how it shapes her life. The same with all these other people. So Lillian Bentoncourt, successful businesswoman, um, through inheritance as well. She made a lot. And you can also look her up online. Now this Yang water dog is not the official pillar, not the official commanding pillar, but I threw this in there because the month is a Yang metal dog, so even the month affects her abilities and how it made her successful, and even just looking at her demeanor, it's very powerful, like her face and how she presents herself. It's also possible that these Yang water dogs right here, the day and the year, has a strong influence on her characteristics. So another one I found here, Huatang Tony Ma, famous in China, 10-cent CEO. You can look him up as well. So he has this in the month, a Yang Earth dog. Okay. You can look through his life and see and match it up and see why this person is so powerful, etc., etc. And then the last one we have here, Lee Kuan Yew, former leader of Singapore, Yang Water Dragon. I've touched upon this in some of my courses before, so I'm not going to mention too much about this. Long story short, it's the commanding pillar is in the day. So you can see from all four of these people, it's not by accident that these people have that commanding pillar to be in their specific position in life. It's in there for a reason, and if you evaluate their luck cycles, you can actually and their lives, you can actually understand more how the luck cycle influenced the commanding pillars itself. So that's it for today. Yeah, if you like this video, you can hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be putting up more videos and more content on a weekly basis, and I'll try and figure out what topics to talk about next time. Until then, have a nice day.